and Tom here again with Ask Landmark.
Hi.
Last time we were talking about helium and the blimps that float above rooftops. This week we're going to talk a little bit about ColdAir Inflatables, which are the kind that have constant airflow using a fan or a blower system. So, let's say I'm going to a trade show and I want to have a ColdAir inflatable. What are some things I need to know?
First off, the size of your display area, so we can determine the height that you'll be allowed to have as a display in your trade show booth. Second would be, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? What's it for? Is it for part of the booth or part of just a product?
What about the noise? If these have blower systems, is this going to be so loud that it's going to be disruptive at a trade show?
No is the direct answer to that. Typically we would put the blower internally in your display. That's why I'd like to learn a little bit more about your display area so that we can position the fan to either be directed away from the noise or the crowd that you're in the booth, or to make it as discreet as possible.
Is it always possible to use an internal blower?
In most cases on an internal display it would be, simply from the standpoint of it doesn't require a lot of pressure because you don't have wind or external forces against it. It just sits there.
Okay, so how do you keep these things stable in the trade show environment?
Again, we try to find a way of putting internal baffling area where we can put sandbags and you can have internal weight as opposed to external tethering.
So do you send these with sand?
No, we do not ship the sand. Freight company is the only one that benefit from that. No, what we would do is probably refer you to the local exhibit hall. They would have sandbags available for that.
Okay, great. What about power? What kind of power do these inflatables need?
The internal fan runs on an electric fan that's 16 amp services. The balloon itself, or the blower, only draws 3 amps of power.
Okay.
But
what about overseas, if I do trade shows in Europe?
We are able to offer a 240 volt model, and typically it'll work in any environment.
So you mentioned freight earlier and freight companies. Let's say I get a 20-foot character or a 20-foot product replica. How heavy is that?
In most cases, a 20-foot balloon can weigh anywhere between 80 to 150 pounds.
So what's the best way to have that shipped?
In most cases, it would be UPS. It would be delivered to the exhibit hall, and they would deliver to your booth.
Okay. And if I'm having it sent to my location, let's say I needed it tomorrow.
Overnight services are not a problem. Most all of the balloons that we manufacture have been shipped overnight, so we have plenty of experience with carriers that can handle that type of shipment.
Great. Well, those are some of the more common questions we get about ColdAir inflatables. If you have a question for Landmark, visit our website at www.landmarkcreations.com and click on Ask Landmark. See you next time.